So, the Shedwars, they're calling it. This started when a Yankee made some comment about a redneck shed, and the redneck took that as an insult. So the insults then started flying back and forth, of course. And then the redneck started rallying his troops around. He's building up a team now against the Yankee. Well, the Yankee, he needed his team then. Now you got two of them. You know, that's how the First World War started, eh? Because one of the royalty from one of the countries took a jab at royalty from the other country, insulted them, eh? So the insulted country, of course, now he's throwing arguments, he's throwing insults back, and their insults are going back and forth, back and forth. Eventually this works out to the general populace, and two countries now, eventually they get into a fist fight. Well, the original insulted country, they had allies. And the allies, they started coming in and saying, hey, you picked on our buddy. Well, the instigating country, hey, they had their allies too, so their allies comes in and says, hey, you picked on our buddy, ganging up on our buddy. United States, they figured they were acting like children and decided to come in and try to break them up. I'm not sure how the Japanese got in there. But anyway, it ended up into a full World War. The Germans, they never did forget that they were considered the losers, one of the losers in that war. And so when Hitler came along, he tried to regain some status that he figured Germany had lost, and started to try to take over Europe again. And then, of course, that got the Allies back in there again. Well, for some reason, the Japs, they always had they had a grudge against the U.S. ever since this First World War. And you know what happened there. And so he ends up with the Second World War. Well, back to the Shedwars thing. As I said, the redneck, he's building up his troops. The Yankee, he's building up his troops. And that wasn't good enough for the redneck. He starts calling out the UK bums. Well, now we've got three teams. All we need is to get the Japs in on it again, and we'd have another Third World War. But that's not what this video is about, because there was this company, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds it's called. They thought it was all fun and games. And so they're like, oh, we'll give you a prize. We'll give a prize to the winning team. 1,000 seed packets. Well, and because we're the ones giving the prize, they said, we get to make the rules. Well, the rules goes like this. We have to make at least 2 videos a month. And it's meant to encourage or give tips to new gardeners. So if you're a new gardener yourself, basically the other gardeners are following you around and noticing the mistakes and pitfalls that you're making and knowing that they're not alone. Me, I've been gardening since I was 8 years old, and that makes 33 years, I believe it is now. So that puts me in the latter category. And so this second video for the Shedwars, that's what I'm going to be doing. And first, one of the biggest or most often cited reasons why people don't get into gardening is because it's so expensive. You have to buy all these tools. Well, this is an awful expensive shovel and a garden cart.
For the price of a used tiller like this, you can buy 10 digging forks, which would be better for the home gardener. And for one new, you can buy 40 digging forks.
The tools you need to run a garden. Gotta have me memory with me, you know. So you need a wheelbarrow. Garden cart sometimes is better, but a wheelbarrow is more versatile. So I suggest get a wheelbarrow. $100 will get you a steel wheelbarrow. I wouldn't suggest get a plastic wheelbarrow because they are breakable, and if they break, they're very difficult to fix. Wheelbarrows, if you get a hole in it, you can fix it with fiberglass, but to prevent holes in it, never leave anything in your wheelbarrow, especially not material like compost or anything. And if you have to leave it outside, leave it down on its side like this. So that's $100. You need a shovel, a proper shovel. This is the easiest thing to dig with. This is a full-size shovel. You can get one of those for $20 to $30. Now, they come in many different sizes. So if you're a smaller person, don't get one of these, you'll wear yourself out. The regular garden rake, if you need to rake large stones, you're going to need one of these. If you're leveling out very heavy soil, like clay soil, then you're going to need one of these. You can also beat at clay lumps to break them up. But you've seen me use one of these. This is a bush rake, not a brush rake. If you look for brush rake, you get those big rakers that they put on the end of bulldozers. So this is a bush rake. And to get one, you'd have to, as far as I can find, be living near a place that caters to commercial professional landscapers, or you order it online. Now that cost $30. Here's another important thing which you will need. So I have two spades there. See, the spades, they're almost flat across this way. But the difference between these two is the end. You see, one is slightly rounded. This is your regular digging spade. It's made to make straight-sided and flat-bottom trenches. This is an edging spade. It's made to cut through roots and grass, but still give you almost the same quality as your digging spade. Now the difference. So this is the rounded one. It goes in that far. I'll take that one up. You put this one that's straight across in front of it. You see, it doesn't go down as far. The sod is fairly soft here, but if there was any small roots in that sod at all, this shovel wouldn't cut that sod. It's only cutting now because it's pure grass that I put it into. That's because your entire pressure is all the way along the end. So when you get one, you get the one that's rounded like that. Now that shovel, that spade, would cost you $23 regular price. For another $10 or $15, you get this for putting in your transplants and flower bulbs, that type of thing. And then there's the gardening fork. Digging fork, I should say. When you're preparing your beds, this fork is all you need to loosen up the soil in the spring and to help you set and dig out, set the plants, dig out tubers. Many of those tasks can be done with a digging fork. That comes to a total of $270 plus tax. Tools of note, if you have trees or shrubs, that kind of thing. First, a set of hand pruners. And a pruning saw. This is a Gerber. I don't remember how much it cost, but it cuts fairly well. There are more expensive ones, and I would assume there are cheaper ones, but the cheaper ones don't normally fold up. You can hear in the background now someone's using one of those expensive garden fluffing machines, aka a tiller. I gave up my tiller 17 years ago and never regretted it once. Those tools that I just showed you, that's all I use to care for these. We have 15 beds here and the 2 strawberry beds, and we have these 3 here. There's 14 beds here, and there's a strip along by the front fence. It covers an entire area, including the pathways, of about 2,000 square feet. Now that's the tools you need to start a garden. Like I said, 300. If you get those other 2 tools, you're running about $350, and you can build all the beds you want. The pruning saw and handheld pruners, they will enable you to cut, because if you see this one, if you're wanting to cut something small, you just use your small pruners. If, however, you're wanting to cut something big, you can get loppers and they'll cut a fairly big branch, even one this size, but you can use your saw to cut one this size, plus much bigger. So there's your video. Hope you enjoyed it. In the next Shedwars video, we'll make a garden bed. I'll see you then.